Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's Thought for the Day, February the 19th. The readings for today are Exodus 30, Psalms 87 and 88, and Mark chapters 15 and 16. The title for today's thought is, That We May See and Believe. What does cause belief? Real conviction? Well, it depends what you want to believe, what you need to believe. If someone cries, "Fire!" you lose no time in acting to verify the cry is genuine or not, and seeing what you can possibly do to help to put it out. Now, today our thoughts were triggered along these lines as we read today in Mark 15 that the chief priests and the scribes mocked him to one another, saying, "He saves others, he cannot save himself. Let the Christ, the King of Israel, come down from the cross that we may see and believe." Verse 31 and 32. These men had witnessed or had first-hand testimony of his remarkable miracles. When he raised Lazarus, they had made plans to put Lazarus to death as well, because on account of him many of the Jews were believing in Jesus, recorded in John 12 verse 10 and 11. Their minds were locked into a certain way of thinking, like a racehorse. They had blinkers on their eyes. And isn't it the same today? Especially as more and more marvellous miracles of nature are discovered, they still say all that exists is a result of pure chance, given enough endless time. Verse 39 tells us that the centurion who stood facing him witnessed the incredible events of his death and saw that in this way he breathed his last. He said, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." Recall how several Roman centurions had contact with Jesus and his miracles with significant impact on them. If we remember Matthew 8 and verse 5 to 13. Now, Roman history shows that there were so many Christians in Rome by AD 64 that Nero put hundreds to death. See Tacticus. Astonishing. But may not returning centurions and soldiers be a factor in this? The disciples, apart from John 19 verse 26 and 27, had disappeared, their uncertain faith shattered. But Mark records that there were also other women looking on from the distance, and he names 3. And there were also many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem, we read in verse 40 and 41. Now in Mark 16 we read of 3 who came to the tomb very early on the first day of the week, verse 2, to anoint his body. Those who sought to do something for Jesus were the first to believe. And us? Do we really believe? Jesus told his disciples just before he ascended to proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. Whosoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Verse 15 and 16. Whosoever believes? What is the quality, the absolute conviction that amounts to genuine belief? Each individual must discover that for themselves. Their lives thereafter will be different. And when they sing, "Take my life and let it be, ever only all for thee," they will perhaps mean it. So thank you for joining us for today's Thought for the Day. We pray you find it helpful, and if you do, please share it with a friend. And as you go about your daily tasks today, try and do all to the glory of God, remembering that the antidote to sin is not just not to sin, but to do good. Please join us again tomorrow for another Thought for the Day. Thank you, and God bless.